this morning with reports of gunfire, and since then has escalated into a total nightmare. The church is currently on fire. The roof is at risk of collapsing, and multiple fire departments are on scene battling a massive blaze while law enforcement is still handling the active shooter threat. At this point, we know there are multiple fatalities that are being reported, but we don't know how many. We don't know how many people are injured, and we don't even know if there are still victims trapped inside the church that is currently burning as firefighters and police rush to get this under control. The entire area around the 4280 block of McCandless Road is shut down. Schools, businesses, and nearby places of worship have been told to shelter in place. This is still a very active, very dangerous situation.
Sheriff Swanson, working in conjunction with the federal, state, local authorities. I was asked by Blanc Township, where this scene is active, to put this message out to the community that there is the more active threat. The shooter is down. We do have multiple victims. The entire church is on fire, and we're working with fire and all those things that happen during an active shooter training. This is a dynamic scene. So the time where we are right now, there's going to be more updates. Just know that there's a lot of things that are happening that we are not able to communicate just because of the work that needs to be done. The McCandless Road between Holly and Saginaw is shut down, and we'll be having more updates. But again, the people that were here have been evacuated. We do have victims. We're working on that. So, this scene is no longer a threat.
This morning, a shooter opening fire at the Church of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan, the Mormon church. Fox 2 Detroit reporting 6 to 8 victims. Police, though, have not given a specific number, only that multiple victims. There are multiple victims at this church. You can see that there was a fire started. Sources telling Fox 2 Detroit that this fire was started by the shooter. So you have a situation here where first responders are dealing with putting out that fire while also responding and trying to save as many victims as they can. We've seen police bringing out victims on stretchers. We don't know how many, only that people have been making their way out of that church. The police there in Grand Blanc Township Police saying that, again, the shooter is down. There is no current threat to the public, but over the last hour and a half or so, a very frightening situation there, as we now have the FBI, the ATF, and the federal government there helping local police, and we expect a press conference at about 12:45, 1 p.m. with more information about what happened, as there were families, obviously multiple generations of people inside the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan, when a shooter opened fire, wreaking havoc and reportedly starting that fire.
We have some big updates regarding the church shooting in Grand Blanc, Michigan. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is that we're getting reports now that the shooter is down, so there's no longer an active threat from that particular individual. Now, here is where it starts to get worse. We're hearing for victims that there were 6 to 8. That number could go up, could go down. These are preliminary reports. What is not being reported officially is that the church, which is on fire right now, by the way, that is official. The church, which is on fire right now, is being heard on scanners that all first responders are being pulled away from the building, called away from the building because of an active explosive threat, like a bomb threat, basically. Now, remember, that's unofficial and coming off a scanner. So the next thing I'll share with you is that this is happening one day after the president of the Mormon church passed away at the age of 101. Again, that was yesterday. So this is getting progressively worse, and we should get more information. The other thing I will remind you guys is that about 12 hours before this shooting happened, there was another shooting, which I owe you guys an update for the boat in North Carolina, where the guy started firing into a crowded restaurant from a boat, taking the lives of 3 people, injuring 8.
8 people are dead and several others injured after a person on a boat opened fire on a crowd at a riverfront bar in North Carolina. Officials there say they have a person matching the description of the shooter in custody, and there is no further threat to the public.
Evil has come ashore in Southport, North Carolina. Ironically enough, at the very place which once served as a backdrop to the movie Safe Haven. And that name is symbolic of the way in which the people in our community view this area.
All right, where is this morning's moron, Grim the Goblin? Grim, there have been 47 school shootings this year, all of them by the party of tolerance, the far left. And the reason why is the same people that give you the news are the same people that trigger you crazy fucks to shoot everything up. At no time has a MAGA shot shit up, including the bombs that were mailed to the Democratic Party. They proved those fake bombs were mailed by the Democratic Party to try and get Hillary Clinton votes. You guys, the party of tolerance, are crazy, idiotic motherfuckers. Let's continue. Grim, you are a piece of shit. You stand for the party that has brought hundreds of thousands of children across the border, all to be put into sex slavery and organ transplant slavery. You are the same people who want illegal aliens in the country to work for a third of the money that a black man would earn on a construction site. Slave labor. And you cover it up by calling it tolerance. You are a piece of shit because everything you vote for is everything that's wrong with this country. And you mask it by telling us that it's kindness and love. Oh, why? Oh, you're trying to deport child rapists. Stop them. Shoot the ICE. You are crazy. You are fucking insane. Wake up. Wake up. Everything you stand for is what's wrong with today's America. All these children's unvetted coming across the border alone. 8-year-olds walking across the border with no one, now being used in sex slavery, now being used in organs transplants here in the United States. All the rest of them are all working slave labor at night for nothing. And all these people that cross the border owe the cartel money, $10,000, $20,000. And they pay that off with interest. So they are also slave labor, yet you defend it. Oh, let them live here. Bullshit. The reason why all the rent has doubled in your neighborhood, Grim, is because you've allowed illegal aliens to come in while they're getting government checks with enough money for your landlord to double the fucking rent. That's why your children and my children will never have the same opportunities we have. Because, Grim, you are a piece of shit. Every single shooting in the United States for the last 4 years has been attributed to a fucking crazy Democrat. You piece of shit. Grim, you are the problem in America. You personally are responsible for these crazy people going out and shooting up innocent children. Innocent children die by the hand of Democrats. As a matter of fact, I put out a poll last Monday that YouTube took down, and the poll said, when will the Democrats have their next shooting on schedule within the next 7 days? Will the Democrats have another shooting on schedule in the next 7 days? And everybody who got a chance to answer that was 100%. And you know what? That was Monday. So it's right on schedule, Grim. You crazy fucks are right on schedule. You are deplorable. You're a piece of shit. You cover up for the evil in this world. God said good will be seen as evil and evil will be seen as good. And Grim, you are grasping on. You guys are fulfilling Bible prophecy. You guys are literally, those who don't believe in Jesus, are literally fulfilling Bible prophecy right in front of our eyes. If you have a wrench, feel free to take out any far lefty you want. Use the word hide. When you click on their message, click on the words they typed in, a window will open. If you hit hide, they have no idea they've been hidden from the chat. They'll continue to earn me money as they sit there and share their comments and their feelings that no one can see. You are disgusting, deplorable, disgusting. Everything is on you. All of the child rapes in the last 4 years are on you. All of the 10-year-old girls that were forced into slavery, sex slavery, are on you. Because you're shooting and I saying they get to stay. They have rights. They don't have rights. If Nixon can kick John Lennon out of the country, Donald Trump can kick rapist and anyone who's come to take a job away from a blue-collared worker for a third of the price. Slave labor. And you think you're doing somebody a favor? Now look at all these black people. And not to mention the fact, every single day in Chicago, gangbangers, who do you think gangbangers voted for? The guy who sent ICE into their communities? They're Democrats. So across the board, the Democratic Party is the most evil next to the Nazi Party, which they actually are the Nazi Party, because Nazi means National Socialist. Donald Trump's not a socialist. He might be a nationalist. I'm a nationalist, but I'm not a National Socialist, and that's what a Nazi is. It's an acronym. Look up the word socialism. It's spelled Z-I. Look it up. Don't be dumb. You are the problem, Grim. What you vote for is the problem, Grim, and you're too ignorant or possibly mentally disabled to understand the havoc that your party is causing on the United States. The party of love and peace. That's what you call yourself, right? Tolerance. We have tolerance for slave labor. We have tolerance for child sex slaves. We have tolerance for child labor. We have tolerance for illegal aliens taking construction jobs away from blue-collared people. We have tolerance for the rents doubling in our blue cities so our children can never get an apartment even if they get a college degree, usually in something that doesn't matter. DEI. You're a piece of crap, Grim. You are the lowest form of human that has been on this planet since the Nazi Party went underground and came to America and started NASA and started the CIA. You're a piece of shit. You are personally responsible for the deaths this morning. You are personally responsible for every little girl that was scared with a 300-pound white man laying on top of her because he paid $50 to some asshole who doesn't speak English, who's pimping out children. That's what you've caused. Do you think those children are somewhere safe? None of them are safe. Kash Patel is recovering those children every day. But you don't know that because your news source won't tell you that, because your news is brought to you by Pfizer, the same people who put that garbage in your arm. That's the good news here, Grim, is that you're fully vaccinated. And the people on the right, none of us are vaccinated because our news sources indicated it's not a good idea. So when everything is said and done, Grim, you're going to have a grabber in the chest. Or you're going to have, and maybe you already have, soft tissue cancer. And we'll still be here when you're dead and gone. But until then, every 7 days, we get a new crazy Democrat standing up and killing innocent children. The party of tolerance spends their weekends killing innocent children. Grim, you are personally a piece of shit, and this is on you. You are the killer. You voted for this shit.
Thin veneer of peace and tranquility which has enveloped this idyllic waterfront community was shattered last night by gunfire that came from the water. When the dust settled, 8 people were shot, 3 of them are dead, and at least 1 is now clinging for their life.
A shooting just erupted tonight, Saturday, about 10 minutes to 10 at the Southport Yacht Basin in North Carolina. The city confirmed an active shooter situation and urged the residents to stay indoors. Officials are now reporting 3 people are dead, 8 others wounded in the attack. According to the city manager, Norris Aldo, shots were fired from a boat into the crowd near the American Fish Company restaurant. The vessel then fled the scene. Authorities warn everyone to avoid the area, remain in your homes, and report any suspicious activity. The search continues for the suspect, and this just happened, guys. Drop a comment below. Be safe out there.
All right, guys, we have some terrible breaking news coming out of Grand Blanc, Michigan.
You're all losers. How do you define a loser? A full-grown man or lady boy who walks into a church and shoots and kills all the kiddies? Is that a loser? That's what I defined a loser as. A big fucking bully who goes into places. How about one of you Democrats walk into a police station with a gun? When are you going to try that? When are you going to give up on the soft targets? When are you going to give up on killing the little kids? The innocent little children that have no political affiliation? You're not, because Democrats are tolerant. Bullshit. You guys have grabbed every single title you can that is the polar opposite of everything that you actually stand for. You're out there shooting ICE agents who are taking child molesters who have been let out of mental institutions around the world. And you're saying these people have rights. They have no fucking rights. I'm going to come into your house and you tell me to fucking leave. And you know what my response is? I got a right to be here. Stop me. Stop me. Oh, what are you going to do? Take out a gun and shoot me? Well, that's exactly that maybe should happen with these illegal aliens. Maybe these illegal aliens who come here and work for less than a college kid will during the summer, who pimp out children. There are no Republicans, there are no MAGA people who have signed up to taking these illegal alien children off the street and turn them into sex toys. But that's what your party did. There's not one child who walked across the border that wasn't affected by either sex slavery, labor slavery, or actually used for organs. And that's what you guys do. When you use up that little kid, and that kid cannot be used for sex trade anymore, you guys turn that kid into an organ donor to save your precious fucking party and your members who need organs. That's what you do. We've already proven it. Maybe you haven't heard it because the news, the same people that control your politicians who spout out the exact same bullshit word for word verbatim across the fucking internet on the exact same day, using the exact same key phrases and the exact same sentences, the same people who do the same thing on the news. Why the fuck is Chuck Schumer saying verbatim, word for word, the same thing that ABC News, NBC News, and CBS News says? They're all competitors. They're all owned by 3 separate companies, except the fact the parent company is BlackRock. You know, I mean, that might be part of it. It might be part of it that the same overlord companies own all of your media. And maybe that's why ABC, CBS, and NBC read the same sentences and key phrases verbatim every night, word for word. How the fuck do 2 competing news sources come up with the exact same sentence? Because you have been triggered. You have been mind controlled, and you're too stupid. The smarter you think you are, the more susceptible you are to being brainwashed by your politicians who trigger you to commit these fucking crimes and the news that backs them up. And you haven't figured it out yet. Well, good for you. You're fully vaxxed. God bless you. Let's see how that works out for you. I'm so sick of the Democratic Party, which unfortunately, well, at the time, it wasn't the bad guys. At the time, in the 80s and the 90s, it was George Bush. They tried to start the New World Order, 1,000 points of light. We will join the New World Order. And then the George Soroses of the world realized that these guys are too long in the tooth. We're going to invest in controlling the young Democrats that are coming up, like Nancy Pelosi and so on, and Joe Biden. We're going to invest in these guys because we have control for longer. We can keep them in office longer. They're so much younger than George Bush Sr. So they gave up on controlling the Republican Party. Dick Cheney, George Bush, and so on, Tip O'Neill, and they switched over to the Young Democrats. And today we have, why do you think George Bush and Obama get along so damn well? Because they got the same boss. But here we are on another Sunday with dead children, a Democrat standing over their dead bodies with a gun, setting a church on fire, just like they have 48 times. I guess we got to do the count, 49. We have 49 far-left shootings in the United States since January 1st, most of which have involved the killing of innocent children. The tolerant left. We're so tolerant. You know what fascism means? It means, the definition of it is killing someone for their beliefs, like Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk's murder was the perfect example of fascism. Yet you point at Donald Trump and call him a fascist. And then on Saturday, you fucking show your colors and commit a fascist act against America. If you vote Democrat, you're responsible. The blood of those children is on your fucking head because it's your party. You're protecting the guilty. You're shaming the innocent, and you're the party of tolerance. You pieces of shit. Wake the fuck up. I was a Democrat my whole life until my party turned communist. And then now I'm a Democrat without a party. I'm a Democrat without a party. I'm voting Republican because my party has become so disgusting and livid. You are fucking little worms in the goddamn ground, and you won't snap out of it. You don't realize you're being lied to. Every fucking newscast in America is brought to you by Pfizer. And you don't get it. But guess what newscast isn't brought to you by Pfizer? The ones I watch, redacted. They're not brought to you by Pfizer, yet you seem to get the God-given truth out of them every day. And the difference is we come with receipts. We bring the evidence. Your news sources just say crazy shit. They don't have any receipts. They don't have any proof. Donald Trump is a Nazi. Where's the fucking proof? What, that he sent ICE out to round up a bunch of child molesters? You guys are pieces of shit. It's come straight up. What we need is a national divorce. You guys get California, and good luck with that, and we'll continue on. Here's the funny thing about Democrats. They would be dead or starving without the Republican that signs their paycheck every week. That's the difference. Because you can't be a business owner in the United States and be an actual Democrat at the same time. You could be a socialist, which is intention to keep the working man down. You could be a socialist in Democratic clothing, but you can't actually be a Democrat if you're a business owner. You guys create nothing. You only destroy. That's what Democrats do. What the fuck has a Democrat ever invented? Nothing. What have you guys destroyed? Everything. Everything. There's nothing lower on this planet than someone who votes Democrat because they're too stupid to see the light. They're too stupid to realize that their tolerant party isn't tolerant of anything at all. And the only reason why your party pushes transgenderism is to eliminate those people from reproducing while we fill the country up with Muslims. Wait till you see what's coming soon. We got, what'd they say? They said 20,000 Al-Qaeda in America right now with the open borders. Wait till you see how that works out for you. Guess what? Al-Qaeda's not Democrat. So maybe you guys are going to get a piece of your own medicine very soon. Crazy motherfuckers.
We have a really, really bad active shooter situation unfolding right now at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints on McCandless Road. This started around 10:45 this morning with reports of gunfire and since then has escalated into a total nightmare. The church is currently on fire. The roof is at risk of collapsing and multiple fire departments are on scene battling a massive blaze while law enforcement is still handling the active shooter threat. At this point, we know there are multiple fatalities that are being reported, but we don't know how many. We don't know how many people are injured, and we don't even know if there are still victims trapped inside the church that is currently burning as firefighters and police rush to get this under control. The entire area around the 4280 block of McCandless Road is shut down. Schools, businesses, and
I'm delusional. Name one Republican shooter this year out of the 49 that we've had so far. Out of the 49 confirmed far-left Democrats that we've had as shooters, find one Republican shooter. We don't do that. We have God. You don't have God. We're not our own God. Democrats believe that God is in me, for I am God. And then you guys go fucking crazy because you can't control the world. And then you shoot it up. We don't do that. We pray. Every time you guys shoot a room full of fucking innocent children, we pray. The only thing left in this country to do is to divide the country. I said that at the very beginning. As a matter of fact, me and another YouTuber sat down and figured out, how do we divide the country up? Well, the Democratic Party is bleeding, hemorrhaging voters at such a heavy rate, we could literally fit all of the far left into the state of California. Give it to them. It's a shithole anyways. You got your King Newsom there. He's doing a great job, isn't he? And then you guys escape to Nashville. And in 10 years, you have turned Nashville into the biggest shithole in America. Literally. Where you can't afford to even live inside the city of Nashville. 10 years ago, a woman can walk down the street, Main Street in Nashville, butt naked. And the only thing would happen to her is she'd get arrested for indecent exposure. Now, she couldn't work. By the time she stepped 3 feet out of her car, you guys be raping her. Now Nashville's the rape capital of the world after the entire state of California defected to Nashville. You bring your cancer with you wherever you go to try and escape Newsom. Your cancer follows you because it's still embedded in your fucking brain. The craziness is still embedded in your fucking brain. You still think you're the party of tolerance. Yet every week you shoot up a school full of innocent children. It's always you. And you vote for it. And your politicians like it because they think they're going to be able to take 600 million guns away from Americans. But you're not going to be able to do that. The whole intention of these shootings is to take guns away from people. And in every situation in the history of the world where guns have been confiscated from the people, that country has become communist ruled immediately. And you're going for the setup. Well, let's just take guns away from people who are innocent, that good law-abiding tax-paying citizens. Why don't we do that? Why don't we take the First Amendment away from these people? If they weren't saying such crazy things, we wouldn't have to shoot them up. Charlie Kirk deserved what he got because what he said. That is fascism. Wishing the death upon someone for their beliefs when they say them out loud is fascism. You call Donald Trump a Nazi, you're the fucking Nazi, National Socialist. Show me a Democrat that's not a socialist. Show me a Democrat that loves America and is a socialist, and that is the definition of the word Nazi. National Socialist. Z-I, that's how you spell socialist. Look it up. German spelling is socialist. It's an acronym. Nazi is an acronym for you. The same people that shoot up innocent schools. It's always you. 49 times this year, it's been you. And if you're not shooting up schools full of innocent children that have no political affiliation, you're shooting men in handcuffs in the back of ICE vans. At what time are you guys going to choose a hard target? At what point are you going to walk onto a military base and shoot up the military base? At what point are you going to walk into a police station? Never, because you're fucking cowards. And then the ones that don't shoot up the schools are voting for it and for protecting them and coming up with crazy fucking ideas like Nick Fuentes is the reason that Charlie Kirk got shot. And the Charlie Kirk shooter was a Trump supporter with a transgendered girlfriend furry who is now on the lam. I'll tell you, there aren't too many. There are some Republican MAGA people who have transgender girlfriends. There's a lot of transgendered people who have come over to this movement. But time and time again, the Democratic Party has proven themselves the tolerant party, their facade of bullshit, tolerant my ass, going in and shooting up schools. You should be ashamed. You should take responsibility for yourself, for your involvement in what happens every 7 days in America. There's no way we're giving up our fucking guns with you crazy motherfuckers walking into schools, shooting up fucking innocent children every fucking week. More than once a week. We got 49. What are we right now? 30 weeks into the year, and we have 49 shootings of soft targets, children, innocent people in restaurants and malls? Because you guys are fucking cowards. You won't walk into a police station. You won't walk into the ICE. Why don't you stand on the ground and shoot ICE? You can't. You're fucking cowards. Instead of shooting ICE, you shoot the guys with the fucking handcuffs on. They can't defend themselves. The only thing you kill is things that can't defend themselves. That's what the Democratic Party is. And then they turn on the news, and then they get some information that has absolutely no evidence attached to it, and they believe it. And why do you think Donald Trump has won like 4 or 5 lawsuits against news agencies in the last 2 years? Why? Because they're all full of shit. And they're all brought to you by Pfizer. Brought to you by Pfizer. Well, Pfizer is a Nazi-owned company. And Donald Trump just came out and said, maybe I made a big mistake with Warp Speed. The guy who's never admitted to a mistake in his entire life. Donald Trump himself, 2.5 weeks ago, came out and said, looks like there's a problem with this Pfizer thing. They the evidence they show, the studies they showed me do not reflect what actually happened here in America. But you guys keep getting in line for that free punch in the arm at Walmart or Walgreens. God bless you. Let's see how that works out for you. You dumb fucking zombies. Fucking hypnotized piece of shit zombies. You're misinformed. I heard ABC News last night say blah, 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 blah. Did they give you any evidence? Did you happen to notice that what ABC News said last night is verbatim, word for fucking word, what they said on CBS? And don't you find that curious? Don't you kind of wonder why CBS is spewing off the same fucking word for word verbatim bullshit as ABC and NBC and, for that matter, Fox, which is owned by Rupert Murdoch? And don't you find it curious that the MAGA group itself is doing everything they can do to prove that your shooter, your crazy, gay, transgendered loving shooter, is not the one who shot Charlie Kirk? You know why? Because MAGA is after the truth. MAGA doesn't trust the FBI on this one. MAGA has gone way deep. They've done hundreds of hours of research to prove that the man that was arrested for Charlie Kirk's killing is not the man who did it. Now, if we were pieces of shit like you, why would we spend hundreds of hours collectively to prove that the guy that got arrested for Charlie Kirk's murder is not the killer? Why? Why would we do that? Because we like the truth. We prefer the truth. If Israel's involved, we're going to find out. I think we did already find out. Yet you guys will throw an innocent motherfucker in jail for the rest of his life or celebrate his shooting because he said something that you don't like. He exercised his First Amendment. And again, the definition of fascism is someone speaking out peacefully and then being silenced by murder. That is fascism. Charlie Kirk was murdered for what he said. Most likely for what he said about Israel. Nonetheless, it's a perfect example of fascism. If, in fact, the kid arrested shot Charlie Kirk, that is the textbook example of fascism. When you guys walk into a school and silence dozens of innocent children for the rest of eternity, that is fascism. Walking into a soft target building and wiping out everyone in that soft target because their beliefs are opposite of yours, that is fascism. And Nazi means National Socialist. And there's not a Democrat in this chat right now that's not actually a socialist in Democratic clothing. The only reason why you use the title Democrat is because using the title socialist might get you injured. You should be ashamed of yourself, you pieces of shit.
By places of worship have been told to shelter in place. This is still a very active, very dangerous situation.
Sheriff Swanson, working in conjunction with the federal, state, local authorities, I was asked by Grand Blanc Township, where this scene is active, to put this message out to the community that there is the more active threat. The shooter is down. We do have multiple victims. The entire church is on fire, and we're working with fire and all those things that happen during an active shooter training. This is a dynamic.
What do you think happens when you pump a young person with testosterone? Are there any Democratic men in this chat that remember being 20 years old and remember being angry for no fucking reason at all? It's testosterone poisoning. And when you put it into someone's body, higher doses than their body can produce, that you get, what was that school shooter, that Christian school shooter, that trans man, woman to male who was on testosterone treatments, who walked into her own elementary school and shot up all those innocent children? That's what happens when you take testosterone or estrogen. When you put testosterone into a woman or you put estrogen into a man, you get rage. That's a side effect. That's what's causing this. And yet you guys are like, no. How about this? How about trans people have their own sports? Because I will go watch I will pay $25 to watch two transgendered people fight each other in the ring. I will. I'll even go watch them play basketball. I guess we already got the WNBA. plenty of transgendered women in the WNBA. But that's why the WNBA is doing so well right now. It's fun to watch transgendered people in their own sports. Give them their own bathroom. I'm okay with that. I'm not against transgendered people. I'm just pointing out when you pump their body full of the opposite chemical that their body produces, you get rage. And that's an example of what we're seeing here today. And what is it? A third, near half of the 49 shootings that have happened since January 1st of this year were caused by transgendered people. Why? Because they're mentally insane, because you guys keep pumping them up full of a chemical their body can't produce. You fucking crazy fucks. I'm all live and let live. But live and let live has come to a juncture of kill innocent children. And that's all you guys are good at. You guys can't even fucking win elections without fucking cheating. The only thing the Democratic Party is good at is sending children in that just crossed the border into sex slavery, or forced organ donations, or forced labor. So some fucking socialist can get his labor done for free. Most of those kids that came across the border that are forced into labor are given a ticket, a $20,000, $25,000, $50,000 ticket they got to pay off to the owner of that company that sponsored them to come across the border and work. You guys don't pay attention to the truth, because the people who are destroying America, the globalists that can currently control your party and very well may someday again control the Republican Party, own your news sources, own your politicians. George Soros, how many radio stations does George Soros own? 230? 230 radio stations owned by George Soros. How many DAs has George Soros paid for? How many politicians in Congress has George Soros paid for? Thousands across the country. Look into it. George Soros was a Jew who turned against his own people to get money. Every Jew that George Soros turned in as a 14-year-old boy, he got to keep all of their wealth. That was the deal he made with the Nazis. His dad had the same deal before his father was killed. And George Soros controls all of your politicians and all of your news sources. The only reason why George Soros was not tried as a war criminal is because he was 14 years old when he did it. He was 1 year too young to be charged. 15 years old is the minimum age to be charged as a war criminal in World War II. And he skipped it by 1 year. And it's not hard to connect the dots if you try. It's very easy to connect, George. All you have to do is go on Ballotpedia. Look up your favorite Democratic politician and look who has donated to him. It says right there. It's public fucking information. Wake up, you piece of shit Democrats, because all of these children's deaths are on your head. All of them. All because you protect the crazy motherfuckers who do it. You vote for the crazy motherfuckers who put these trigger words in your head to drive you guys fucking crazy. That's why your guys the Democratic Party has such a giant problem with mental health. It's because every day you get bombarded with bullshit that makes you angry and turns your fucking stomach and literally controls you. I know how to control people. I can control almost anyone, a complete stranger, through anger. You can get people to do what you want. You can get people to forfeit their freedom by getting them angry, just like I'm doing to you fucking Democrats right now. I'm turning rage in your stomach right now on purpose. Hopefully some of you snap out of it. Others of you will go on to find a innocent Christian school during the week and shoot it up, because that's what you guys do. That's your MO. That's what you're famous for. That's all you have done for the last 10 years. I asked ChatGPT to give me a list, and I had to word it three different times. You can get any answer you want from ChatGPT when they refuse to answer a question by rewording the question. And the question was, how many shooters, mass shooters, since 2015 were anti-conservative? And that's what how I had to word it. Because when I originally worded it, how many shooters were far left? It wouldn't give me the answer. How many shooters were transgendered? ChatGPT wouldn't give me the answer. But when I said how many shooters were anti-conservative, it said the list is too long. Can we use one of these categories to shorten the list? It's always you guys. It's never MAGA. It's never, ever MAGA, because we have God and we have Jesus Christ. And we believe he's coming back. And we believe every time you guys walk into a school and shoot up a bunch of little fucking babies, that we're one step closer to Jesus Christ rapturing his church and dropping the fist of God on top of your evil asses. And I can't wait for that to happen. And if I don't make the rapture, I'll be here streaming live on YouTube, folks. As God takes his wrath against the evil, against the Satanists. Here's the thing. If those of you, everyone believes in evil. Almost no Democrats believe in God. You believe in evil because you live it, you see it, you feel it, but you don't believe in God. How could there be evil without good? It's up to you. I don't care if you are saved. I don't care if you find Jesus Christ. I don't care if someday you walk hand in hand where God literally speaks and you can hear it in your chest and your heart, and his voice speaks to you daily, and he tells you things about yourself that you don't want to hear, and he asks you to fix those things. I don't care if you guys ever get to achieve that level of humanity. I don't care. I don't want you far left, purple hair, crazy motherfuckers doing to heaven what you did to Nashville.
So the time where we are right now, there's going to be more updates. Just know that there's a lot of things that are happening that we are not able to communicate just because of the work that needs to be done. The mechanics road between Holly and Saginaw is shut down, and we'll be having more updates. But again, the people that were here have been evacuated. We do have victims. We're working on that. So more updates to come. The scene is no longer...
Hey, Jojo, I don't show my face, so you don't see me coming. So I can get right up to you and kiss you on the lips, and you never know it was me. And by the way, everyone who is responding in the chat, in about 3 hours, I could have your home address. And the only reason I'm doing this live stream today is, guys, you pushing me over 1 million views in the last 3 weeks. That's the only reason for it. I came on purposely to piss you fucking far left pieces of shit off so I could get over 1 million views in 3 weeks. And if any of you were conveniently near me, I might come up. If you ever get kissed on the face by a 6'4" man out of nowhere, if a 6 foot big hairy motherfucker comes up and kisses you on the lips when you're walking out of Walmart, it's me. The debate when they start insulting you. That's the exact moment that you won the debate, when they're out of ammunition to combat your remarks, when they have to turn to putting you down instead of coming up with something true that they could defend your opinion with. The moment in time when they start to put you down, when they slur negative comments at you, is the moment that you win the debate. And here I am. There's 300 of you in the chat, 200 now, and I'm slaying all of you in a debate because all you can come up with is a bunch of put downs and a bunch of threats. I'm not the one that said God is going to crush you. The Bible does. The Bible says it. And here's a big red flag. If you look on YouTube and you only, if you go by date, you go and you search filter by date, children who have had dreams of the rapture of his church in the last, let's say 90 days, there are tens of thousands of videos of moms and dads recording their children, telling their dream. And every dream these kids are having, tens of thousands of dreams. There was only one girl who said she was at home. Every single child said that they were in school, they were in the middle of class, the sky opened up, the light was so bright they couldn't keep their eyes open. Jesus Christ ascended from the sky and told the children they're going home. And the children went up into the sky. The only variations on those dreams, tens of thousands of dreams in the last 90 days. The only two variations is one girl was home sick with her mom. In the dream, she was watching TV and she stayed home from school. She literally says, I stayed home from school that day and God took us. God took us and raptured us up. The rapture comes before the 7 years of tribulation where you get, here's the thing about evil. Here's the wonderful thing that nobody knows about evil is Satan builds you up and gets you to do evil. Like any one of these shooters, for instance, all of these shooters are being used by Satan, but not for the reason that you think. Because the more evil Satan can get you to do, the more valuable in hell you are as the mouse in the cat game. The demons are the cats, and the devil is feeding you to the demons in a forever psychological terrorist type of existence. You're going to live your life being terrorized by demons, reliving the sins and the evil that you have caused on this earth. That's what hell is. Go watch any people who have died and gone to hell. There's hundreds of thousands of those people who are clinically, legally dead who went to hell. And they all come back with the same fucking story. They look at, and the prisons are cubes. And there's no bars on these cells that Satan keeps you in because it's scarier to come out of that box than it is to stay in it. But in that box, you relive your sins. You relive the evil that you have perpetrated against others, no matter how tiny it is. And they psychologically abuse you for eternity. That's what hell is. That's exactly what hell is. You evil fucks are simply food for the demons controlled by Satan. I didn't say that you're going to have the wrath. The Bible says that God's wrath will be upon you. You evil fucks who support this shit. And in the end times, when evil becomes good and good is seen as evil, You don't get forgiveness for getting tricked. You are not forgiven for being lied to. You're not forgiven for being misled by Satan, by the news sources, by the politicians. You don't get forgiveness for that. You're a part of that. You've perpetrated that by choice, by a failure to look around and see the truth. I don't care what happens to you after you die. I don't care. I don't want you in heaven. I don't want heaven to be like Nashville. What you guys did to Nashville is disgusting. You know, a far-right Republican in New York, Chicago, or Los Angeles would not be considered anywhere near a Republican in the state of Texas or the state of Florida. That you are you are at best a far-right Republican in any of those three cities is libertarian at best in Florida. So if you are a Democrat in those three cities, you are way far left in Florida or Texas or Arkansas or a red state. Like my state, Kentucky. Henderson, Kentucky, if any of you want to come find me, just look for the 6'4" motherfucker, the big hairy motherfucker. Just look for me. Driving a 1988 F-250. Red. That's me. Find me. Come get me. Thursdays, I'm always at Tacoholics around 2 p.m. Come find me. Best Mexican restaurant in the world. Bring your firearms.
This morning, a shooter opening fire at the Church of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan, the Mormon church. Fox 2 Detroit reporting 6 to 8 victims. Police, though, have not given a specific number, only that multiple victims. There are multiple victims at this church. You can see that there was a fire started. Sources telling Fox 2 Detroit that
I'm not Jesus. Jesus might want you in heaven, but I don't. I don't have to want you in heaven. That's not my job. It's not my job. I squared away my evil with God. God has taken and forgiven me for all of my sins. I have gone through that process, which takes years and it changes you from the inside out. But I don't have to be like Jesus. The reason why Jesus died for my sins is because I couldn't hold up to the 10 Commandments. That's why. We broke the first covenant. That's why we got a second covenant with Jesus. Because we can't hold up to the 10 Commandments. I can't hold up to the 10 Commandments. But at the same time, I don't have to hope you go to heaven. I don't care. I'm a libertarian. If you want to have an abortion, you go have an abortion. If you want to be transgendered, you go be transgendered. I hope you have the happiest life ever. I don't care. If whatever you want to do with your life, I don't care. Be happy. But at the same time, I don't have to want you to be in heaven with me. Not only do I don't care if you're transgendered, I don't care if you go to heaven. I'm right down the middle. It's your fucking choice. No matter what subject we pick, I think it's your choice. Unfortunately, you guys don't, and that is the definition of fascism. You don't believe Charlie Kirk has the right to debate, and the thin layer of debate that keeps this country from going to civil war was removed under the Obama administration, whom I voted for. And after the second time, a month after he won his second election, he said, we're going to start arresting people who we believe will commit crimes in the future. And my stomach sunk, and I'm like, holy shit, I voted for the wrong motherfucker. Holy shit, this guy is fucking evil. That's when I originally figured out. That was my first red flag. We're on to something bad here with this Obama guy. And I fucked up and voted for him. But nor do I care what you do with your body or who you have sex with or what body parts you cut off. Don't care. Have fun. I don't care if you go to heaven. And I don't have to care. Jesus cares. Jesus wants to love you one-on-one. Jesus doesn't say go to church. Jesus says church is the problem. But you motherfuckers mix up the fucking Old Testament and the New Testament so much you don't know anything about Jesus. Jesus is someone who wants to have a personal relationship with you one-on-one, privately in your home, where you speak to him and he eventually will speak back to you when he believes that you truly want that conversation. But you don't, and I don't care. Can you have Jesus in your life without telling any of your fucking far-left transgendered friends? Yes, you can. Nobody has to know. Jesus doesn't care if you're transgendered. Jesus doesn't care if you're gay. Jesus doesn't care if you shot up a school full of kids. If you want to accept Jesus as your Savior and ask for his forgiveness for no matter what sin you've created, he's willing to forgive you. And he's willing to fill you with a love and a joy that you never felt. You're all you Democrats, you're all chasing happiness. And happiness is a surface emotion. It doesn't go deeper than the skin. Joy comes from the inside and goes out, and joy can only be possessed by those who love Jesus Christ. That's God's truth. That is God's truth. But again, I don't care if you have that relationship or not. I don't care. If you're happy the way you are, keep going that way. But look how it's turning out for you. Look how your stomach feels. Let's look at how the Democratic stomach feels every morning. And you're all on the brink of becoming the next shooter because you've all been infected by bullshit lies by network television that are owned by globalists whose only goal is to crush the United States to have a one world order. That's it. We've known this for years. They don't hide it. The Satanic Party can't hide it because they believe in karma. So the Satanic Party has to tell you. The reason why you heard so much about 2025 agenda, which didn't exist, which was made up by the left, is to cover up the 2030 agenda, which you could easily find on the UN website, which you could easily find on the internet. Look up the 2030 agenda. It's written by the same people that control your news and control your politicians. And you could easily track that back by going to Ballotpedia.com and looking who is giving money to the politicians that I vote for. And there's plenty of Republicans that are just as guilty as the Democrats. But there's not one Democrat that's independent of the globalist New World Order. It's 100%. And it might be 70% of the Republicans who are controlled by the globalist New World Order. And there's probably and the Republicans that you hate the most are the ones that are not taking money from the globalist New World Order. That's why you hate them, because your news sources keep repeating their names and saying they're bad and fail to bring evidence of anything they've done bad. All right, let's watch who the Democrats murdered this morning.
This fire was started by the shooter. So you have a situation here where first responders are dealing with putting out that fire while also responding and trying to save as many victims as they can. We've seen police bringing out victims on stretchers. We don't know how many, only that people have been making their way out of that church. The police there in Grand Blanc Township Police saying that, again, the shooter is down. There is no current threat to the public, but over the last hour and a half or so, a very frightening situation there, as we now have the FBI, the ATF, and the federal government there helping local police, and we expect a press conference at about 12:45, 1 p.m. with more information about what happened, as there were families, obviously multiple generations of people inside the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan, when a shooter opened fire, wreaking havoc and reportedly starting that fire.
We have some big updates regarding the church shooting in Grand Blanc, Michigan. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is that we're getting reports now that the shooter is down, so there's no longer an active threat from that particular individual. Now, here is where it starts to get worse. We're hearing for victims that there were 6 to 8. That number could go up, could go down. These are preliminary reports. What is not being reported officially is that the church, which is on fire right now, by the way, that is official. The church, which is on fire right now, is being heard on scanners that all first responders are being pulled away from the building, called away from the building because of an active explosive threat, like a bomb threat, basically. Now, remember, that's unofficial and coming off a scanner. So the next thing I'll share with you is that this is happening one day after the president of the Mormon Church passed away at the age of 101. Again, that was yesterday. So this is getting progressively worse, and we should get more information. The other thing I will remind you guys is that about 12 hours before this shooting happened, there was another shooting, which I owe you guys an update for the boat in North Carolina, where the guy started firing into a crowded restaurant from a boat, taking the lives of 3 people, injuring 8.
3 people are dead and several others injured after a person on a boat opened fire on a crowd at a riverfront bar in North.
Ramiro Moreno, why don't you go and copy and paste the Bible verse you're referring to into the chat? And spoiler alert, he can't. It doesn't exist. If he's talking about the Christian Bible, I mean, yes, I will admit that the book of Quran has 123 passages that indicate that it is okay to rape and enslave Christians and Jews. So without quoting the Quran, I want you to go find your Christian Bible verse about blonde-haired, blue-eyed people and paste it. Or if not the whole verse, just give us the address of the verse, like Matthew 21, 23 or whatever. Why don't you go do that? But spoiler alert, he can't, because it doesn't exist. Because he's full of shit, and right now he is committing blasphemy against God. And that's okay. That's his thing. Like I said before, transgendered, go ahead, have fun. If you're over 18, I got no problem with it. If you're under 18, I got a big fucking problem with it. If a 16-year-old kid can't get a tattoo, then a 16-year-old kid can't chop off his junk. Just simple.
Carolina. Officials there say they have a person matching the description of the shooter in custody, and there is no further threat to the public.
Evil has come ashore in Southport, North Carolina. Ironically enough, at the very place which once served as a backdrop to the movie Safe Haven. And that name is symbolic of the way in which the people in our community view this area. The thin veneer of peace and tranquility which has enveloped this idyllic waterfront community was shattered last night by gunfire that came from the water. When the dust settled, 8 people were shot, 3 of them are dead, and at least 1 is now clinging for their life.
A shooting just erupted tonight, Saturday, about 10 minutes to 10 at the Southport Yacht Basin in North Carolina. The city confirmed an active shooter situation and urged the residents to stay indoors. Officials are now reporting 3 people are dead, 8 others wounded in the attack. According to the city manager, Norris Aldo, shots were fired from a boat into the crowd near the American Fish Company restaurant. The vessel then fled the scene. Authorities warn everyone to avoid the area, remain in your homes, and report any suspicious activity. The search continues for the suspect, and this just happened, guys. Drop a comment below. Be safe out there.
Okay. So to wrap up everything that has happened, we've had 3 shootings. One in Eagle Pass, which is being connected to the Trinidad Aragua gangs, the cartels. The church shooting in Michigan, the LDS church shooting, is being contributed to a far-left idiot. And I think we'll quickly find out that the guy who was on a boat and shot up a bunch of people sitting eating dinner is contributed to another one of these deranged Trump syndrome folk. It's a matter of hours before we find out what the deal is on the third one. But nonetheless, same shit, different day. Democratic Party shooting soft targets. And they want to take the guns away. And the minimum number of guns they say there are in the United States is 600 million. There are other numbers that say over 1 billion guns. So some people say there's 3 guns for every American. Some people say there's 2 guns for every American. Either way you look at it, there's no fucking way we're giving up our guns while you guys only shoot up a soft target. So as long as I have a house full of guns, I'm not a soft target. I'm a hard target. You have to, if I give up my guns, then I become a soft target, and then I become a news story like all these innocent children that the Democrats keep shooting up. So the guns aren't going away. And we will continue as a far right to defend ourselves. And that's what the Second Amendment for, is defending ourselves. The Second Amendment is not an offensive right. It's a defensive right given to us by God, which we will not let go of. Because again, as soon as we do, we become a soft target for the far left. And to recap, we are on shooting number 49. There's 47 school shootings. I don't know if we add up all the malls, how many we get, malls, shopping centers, and parks, open areas, but we're easily over 50 altogether far left shootings where they walk into soft targets and shoot a bunch of innocent, unarmed people. But let me predict that you will never see the day when a Democrat walks into a police station and shoots it up. When a Democrat goes nose to nose with an ICE agent with a gun and shoots it up. It won't happen. They don't go after hard targets. Remember that the shooting in Texas with the ICE shooting, the shooter only shot men in handcuffs. Soft targets. Real soft targets. So that's the MO of the Democratic Party. It continues to be the party of tolerance, who praised the death of Charlie Kirk for exercising his First Amendment, the only man to bring debate back into politics. When you remove debate from politics, you only get a civil war. Debate is the thin layer that keeps this country from going to civil war. It was removed by Obama, and you guys keep doing what you're doing, you Democrats, and we'll keep doing what we're doing, and I hope that works out for you. And if any of you Democrats want to find out where we're at as far as the end of the world goes, you could pick up in chapter 13 of Revelation. Pick up in 13, where we're just past breaking the second seal. We're about to break the third seal. There are 7 seals. And I believe the Bible says those last few seals will come like within days of each other. So you guys keep going your route and keep defending the rights of illegal aliens who are stealing jobs from people who didn't go to college. Very good paying jobs, but they're not good paying jobs. If you're an illegal alien, you get paid a third of what a black American would get paid on a construction site. That's why they like them. That's why illegal aliens are so popular for labor, because they work for a third of the price. And if you're wondering why your kid's still living in your basement, it's because the number of illegal aliens that have moved into your blue city have taken over so many of the apartments, the price of rent has doubled. So your Democratic son or daughter or transgendered person that lives in your home will not be moving out anytime soon until Donald Trump removes the 30 million illegal aliens who have oversaturated the rental market and oversaturated the job market with lower paying, with allowing employers to get away with lower pay. Yet you sit there and defend every day. You're doing the dirty work for the small construction guy. The construction company that has 30 employees, that's paying those guys $12 an hour instead of paying them $25 or $32 an hour. You know, a union journeyman carpenter is making $45, $50 an hour. But you can get a Mexican that'll come over from Mexico and do the same job for $12. So continue to help the small business owners who hire illegal aliens. That's all you're doing. You're fighting for the rights of the small business owner who doesn't want to pay an employee over the table. They're giving Jose $12 an hour under the table. And by the way, most importantly, less than 20% of the people who crossed the border during the Biden administration were actually Mexican. The rest of them were from India, Muslim countries, China, South America. Almost none of them are Mexican. 1 out of 5 is Mexican. So to attach ICE to Mexico in itself is a prejudiced thought pattern. It's you guys continuously, we're not prejudiced, we're not racist. Yeah, you're racist. You are a fucking racist if you think that everybody who crossed the border is a fucking Mexican, because they're not. One out of 5 is Mexican. The rest of them are from everywhere else. And the FBI just released a document the other day saying we got 20,000 Al-Qaeda motherfuckers in this country, and we can't find them because Joe Biden let them in but didn't track them. So we got some serious shit going down. You think that these transgender people could shoot up a fucking school and set it on fire? You ain't seen nothing yet. Al-Qaeda's coming to your backyard. And if you're living in a blue city, guess where Al-Qaeda lives? In sanctuary cities. You dumb motherfuckers. You idiot fucking Democrats. Peace and love worldwide. Live your life before your life lives you. Keep on smiling. And I'm going to go enjoy my Sunday. And by the way, thank you, Democrats, for putting me over 1 million views in the last 3 weeks this morning. The only reason I did this live stream was to break 1 million views in 3 weeks. You guys did it. You guys definitely paid my mortgage. I could probably, with the money that the Democrats have given me in the last 3 weeks, I could probably put a huge fucking down payment. I think $6,000 or $7,000 I'll get October 21st from YouTube. Thanks to the Democrats who come in here and shared their idiotic ideas. I do appreciate it. I will do it again. Like flies on shit, you will return. Have a beautiful day.